cry over you. Cry. Actually, this goes back to many of our golf events.
That's just Reggie's game.
If you guys play golf, we'd be playing this when you're playing.
All right, that's Mike McBath, Larry Adams here, along with me, Christopher Hart. We'll be here until 7 o'clock. Of course, Lucas Paris has us up on the Periscope. And, of course, you don't have to worry about whether the Rays are playing or not. It doesn't matter on the Periscope. Nicholas Cicero's on the bridge. 407-774-8255 is the number. Okay. I've been sort of railing, not sort of, I have been railing on the Republicans for working with the president on this trade deal, this fast-track trade status. And the reason part of the reason anyway, that I've been railing against the Republicans is, how can you, on the one hand, say this guy is untrustworthy, he violates the Constitution, he's breaking the law, and then now you're going to turn around and you're going to enable him to put together a very consequential, and I mean that to our personal lives, trade deal? Come on, give me a break. I mean, Alan Grayson has come out against this, and so I'm at least in agreement with Alan Grayson on this. Elizabeth Warren, I guess I'm with Elizabeth Warren on this now for different reasons, but we're all against this. But I think Paul Krugman kind of summed it up, kind of brought us together. Paul Krugman is a very liberal economist. I believe he's a Nobel Prize winning economist, wasn't he? Yeah.
That's why they use them, the liberals.
Yeah, exactly. But he wrote an editorial, an op-ed for Friday's New York Times, where he talks about what he calls trade and trust. Because he says the issue here is trust.
Well, the deal's off if you're talking to Thoreau.
What's interesting, though, is that here is this very liberal economist, and I've heard him protect and sing Obama's tune, I don't know how many times, questioning whether we should trust this president. He talks about how and this is kind of funny, because it's liberals getting a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, this is great. Their experience and what they brought on.
Exactly.
It's wonderful.
Exactly. Let me just read just a couple of paragraphs in the article. He says, he says, as I see it, the big problem here is one of trust. International economic agreements are inevitably complex, and you don't want to find out at the last minute, just before an up or down, all or nothing vote, that a lot of bad stuff has been incorporated into the text. So you want reassurance that the people negotiating the deal are listening to valid concerns, that they are serving the national interest rather than the interest of well-connected corporations. Instead of addressing real concerns, however, the Obama administration has been dismissive, trying to portray skeptics as uninformed hacks who don't understand the virtues of trade. How do you like it? That's what we get all the time from all you liberals. But they're not. The skeptics have, on balance, been more right than wrong about issues like dispute settlement, and the only really hackish economics I've seen in this debate is coming from supporters of the trade pact. By the way, he points out something that I warned about this. Barack Obama, if he's allowed to do this, will try to make this trade deal an avenue for him to implement climate change rules, to implement gun control rules. Okay, he kind of points this out too. He says there will be disputes that arise. Let me just read what he says about that. He says, on dispute settlement, a leaked draft, and by the way, he also complains that they're not allowing anybody to see what they're working out.
Right there, unacceptable. I don't see it.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
He says, a leaked draft chapter shows that the deal would create a system under which multinational corporations could sue governments over alleged violations of the agreement and have the cases judged by partially privatized tribunals. In other words, he's saying that, let's just say Mitsubishi wants to sue the United States because we're still allowing cars to be made that only have 50 miles per gallon mileage ratings. And that's, according to the trade deal, they should be 100. This is the kind of crap that will be snuck in there. And basically what Krugman is saying is we don't need another Obamacare where we have to vote for it to find out what's in it.
How about if we lose the suit, who pays for it?
Right.
Oh, the taxpayer.
Right.
Again. I
Right.
wouldn't mind it if it was tied to Brock and Hillary's pocket.
Right.
But not the taxpayer.
But,
You know, but anything like that's terrible.
It is.
That's terrible.
It is, but it's. This is something, once again, we predicted on the show here, and that is that Barack Obama's biggest enemies are going to end up being a lot of his own people. You know, who have
I think that's
supported him.
wonderful. I'm glad to see Klugman out here this early in the campaign for the next round. That's great.
Well,
where's Hillary standing?
Well, that's the whole point. Is nobody's asking Hillary, and she
so none of them even know.
And she won't talk if she does. And by the way,
she's hinted she's leaning towards it.
Right, and
that's a real endorsement.
In the New York Times, they also did an article Saturday, and it ran next to the article about Marco Rubio and how he's their biggest fear. And it basically says what I said here on the show. The reason Hillary Clinton doesn't want to talk to the reporters is because she knows she's her own worst enemy. Then when she opens her mouth, she's going to stick her foot in it. She already knows that. That's why she's not talking to the media, and she will not. As this campaign goes on, the media will be aced out of the Hillary Clinton campaign, and she will laugh them off like she did last week. I'll put it on my list of things to consider.
We'll practice laugh.
Yeah. And so she's going to be dissing them left and right. But that's not going to work for her.
That's
because
not going to work.
It's going to make her unlikable. And if a guy like Rubio comes along with all that likability, making women faint and toilets flush themselves, it will be a landslide for Rubio. Hillary Clinton is not a winnable candidate. Now, they think Rubio's the only guy or the one with the biggest chance to beat her. I think almost all the Republican candidates.
All of them could beat her.
You better believe it.
She's a horrible candidate.
She's a horrible candidate following up a very bad presidency.
Right.
It kind of reminds you of 2008, doesn't it?
Right.
You had a horrible Republican candidate.
Right.
John McCain, for all his heroics as a military man, he was a horrible presidential candidate following a very now unpopular Republican president. It was a recipe for disaster for the Republican Party, and then it materialized as a disaster for the country.
Right. Well, that's why I think, like I said, we're all hoping these debates go right in the sense of format and the way they're handled by our candidates, because, I mean, we're going to win.
Yeah.
And,
well, the Republicans need to focus on, let's just say, I don't want to give away my article, The Republican Recipe for Victory, but it all lays in, the answers lie in the future, okay? Looking to the future, pointing the direction in the future. The cue is now some 75% of the country thinks the nation is going in the wrong direction, all right? But a bunch of policy walk answers is not going to make them feel comfortable about following you. You have to make the country believe.
Create a picture.
That you, exactly. Create a picture that you know the country's going in the wrong direction, you know how to steer it into the right direction, and that you're capable of doing it. The Republican that can sell that message will be in the White House in a couple of years. I guarantee you. And if none of them can sell that message, then we're in a deep fix. Much worse than we are even now.
Then Bernie Sanders.
That's right.
We might as well go all the way.
That's
you know? Let's just forget even close to, let's go Bernie, he's our man.
All right, well, we're going to go all the way over to Cafe Positano and chow down on some great Italian cuisine. I hope you folks will join us there on the 22nd. That's 4 weeks from yesterday. I think I said earlier 4 weeks from today. But I
thought it was a Monday.
It is a Monday.
Okay.
But earlier I was thinking today was a Monday, but today is Tuesday. So 4 weeks from yesterday, Cafe Positano, we'll be there doing a live remote broadcast. It's going to be a lot of fun. Want you to come out and join us. You can make your reservation now at 407-774-8080. That's Cafe Positano.
And don't forget, if